All right, good morning, agents. I'm Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here at Alta Realty Group. And today we're going to cover doing unsolicited video CMAs. So really good way to stay in front of your clients. It's really especially good for people in your database that you've already done business with and you already got into a home. So great way to stay in touch, great way to provide value for free and to stay top of mind with your clients. So before we get into today's presentation, I'm going to bring Bill Seitz, corporate broker of Alta Realty Group, on the line. Bill, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Kevin. I am doing great. Typically, we are talking about crappy weather, and I have to say, yesterday was probably the best day of the year. So, it was warm and there was no wind, and it was just an absolutely gorgeous day. So, every once in a while, we get rewarded with something, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, beautiful day today. Starting off to be a good one today.
Yeah, I know everyone's in their own little microclimate of the state, but for us, typically it's gray and really gross down here for May and June. So to have the sun out all day long and have it in the low to mid 70s was an absolute blessing. So we'll take it when we can.
Absolutely. California can be as good as it gets.
It can be. That's right. Um, do we have? I wanted to kind of touch base on that pricing 2.0. I kind of did a subsequent.
Yeah, let me pull it up for you.
Well, I guess what we'll do, it kind of ties into, I guess, everything we're doing today, right?
Yeah.
You got my the report I pulled from the bank,
Yes.
and if Amelia is going to be on, I'll let her kind of introduce that. Then I have some follow up with that before you kind of get into your content today, Kevin.
Perfect.
Um, but let's see here. The main point of the broker tip yesterday was just talking about how inventory is increasing, and I do a lot of reading and a lot of data processing on this stuff. And I think most of you are probably seeing the inventory is increasing in your local, markets. And as we're approaching the seasonal peak of the spring, home buying season, um, it was just kind of another reason to make sure that if you want to sell the home and you want to get, even multiple offers, pricing the home is just absolutely imperative to get it priced right. Um, and also having really hard data. Like, I just don't think you can go to a seller and just have them take your word of, your word of mouth about the market. Like, you got to have hard data, hard things you can send that you can back up what you're saying, because a lot of sellers are still stuck in the seller's market mentality where we've been for, it seems like forever now. But as this inventory swells, interest rates are actually up a little bit today. And as Amelia said, it's just going to be a back and forth. It's going to be a volatile market. You really have to have the education to share with your sellers. And nothing's worse, and we've all been there, than pricing a home too high, and then or letting the seller kind of dictate more than they should what the house is worth, and then having it sit through those key weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks in, the most showings, the most activity, the most traction you're going to get, all to have it go. All of a sudden, you're at 80, 90 days in the market, and you're going, oh my gosh, the phone stopped ringing. I'm getting one showing a week. And so I'm just a big believer in getting all these things as ammunition so you can deal with your sellers and be confident on what you're talking about. A lot of the business we get are referrals or friends or, people that we know, that have come across our path. And you might be the greatest guy or girl in the world, but at the end of the day, if you can't, articulate and explain exactly what's happening in the market, sellers going to get frustrated with the process, and you're going to potentially be looking at a cancellation or expired listing.
Yeah, it's about the worst thing that can happen as a realtor.
Well, yeah, there's so much front end work that we do as agents. There's so much front end work, and that's why it's so, such a big deal when we finish and take it to the finish line, because that's when we get paid. That's when we get compensated for all the front end work. There's no compensation until the thing closes, and it's imperative that we have a good process We have good habits, and we know the kind of data and tools that we have at our disposal to help this process and to help educate sellers and to price things right, and and just have success that way.
For sure. So I am going to share that graphic, and I will bring on Amelia Hollow, and she can kind of go through this with us. Anything else to add before I do that, Bill?
No, Amelia and I spoke about this yesterday. This is a report that we get from one of our wholesale lenders, and I want her to just kind of run through it briefly. I'll have some things to add real quick on behind it, and then I think you'll have some information too about how it can be utilized as a marketing tool.
Absolutely. So with that said, Amelia, good morning. So of course, Amelia is our senior loan officer for Clearview Mortgage. So good morning, Amelia. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, this tool is super useful on the mortgage side. I'm a little less familiar with, exactly what the needs on a real estate basis are. So Bill, I will hand it back to you in a minute here so you can kind of touch more on the specifics of that. But I know, from our perspective, the lenders will accept this document as a pretty good estimate of value. It does have, I guess, maybe a little bit of limitation, but for the most part, you're going to get a range, as you can see in the kind of upper left-hand box there under Agile Insights. It's going to say, the kind of mid value, but then also the range of values just below that. And it's even breaking it down by price per square foot. Plus, even a little below that, the subject attributes section there is going to give you your breakdown of bedroom count. You've got comparables that have sold within the past 12 months, which, that's going back a little far maybe for some of your needs. Again, I'm not entirely familiar with exactly how realtors price, but 12 months does seem maybe a little far back, but it's giving you kind of the history of the neighborhood, and definitely going off of all those things that you use, comparable gross living areas, distance to the subject property. You've even got one of the tools that we use a lot in the mortgage side of things for investment properties in that upper right-hand box is going to be a range of rental value. So it's also going to rank how confident the data provider is with this data that they're providing. So they're kind of letting you know, we think that you could retrieve about $6,500 a month, and we have high confidence in that as the rental value for this property. So we use that a lot when we're looking at purchasing investment properties. And certainly this comes in handy for refinance in a huge way, because we're able to get appraisal waivers and things like that by using this document. And if you scroll a little further down, Kevin, I think you're just going to get more information. Yep, a map of the neighborhood there. It's going to provide more information about the comparables that they've chosen. And I think it's going to go a little further. Let's see, I've got one pulled up too. Active listings. So it's going to show you some of the stuff that's actually for sale, not just the stuff that recently sold. And then you've got historical data and kind of future predictions for the area. So it's a really useful tool with a ton of data, market analysis, and then that's pretty much it. But it's a really cool document. And like Bill said, we have this at our fingertips. We can search this for free for any property that you have. If you've got a client who, you're just starting to touch base with, and you just want to shoot over an email to myself or to Bill and let us know that you need us to pull this document for you, it's super easy to do, and we can have it to you in a matter of minutes. So yeah, Bill, maybe you could dive a little bit more into specifically how a realtor can take advantage of this document.
Yeah, well, you touched off on a key point, Amelia, and that's appraisal waivers. We all know appraisals take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, whatever, depending on the backlog or availability of appraisers in your local area. But this report is super key because this will provide basically verification if the loan to value is low enough that the bank will many times just say, we don't need an appraisal. We're confident in the valuation of the property, and they will give us an appraisal waiver. How huge is that? I mean, that's a huge component to the process of completing the sale. Once again, I love this document. I actually didn't bring up last week. just because this is software that, you know, Amelia and myself and Bruce and some of the other people at Clearview have access to. But I actually just thought about it a couple of days ago. I said, you know what? We should make this available to our agents. And, you know, you can reach out to Amelia. You can have, you know, conversation with her, talk about this report. This is super easy for us to pull. This 4 or 5 pages is as important to me as the MLS and doing your CMAs, because you can cross reference. If you go down, Kevin, to page 2, 3, 4, and you see the, you know, the map, and then it gives you days on market, it gives you active, pending, all that stuff. And I mean, this is literally pulled in a matter of, like Amelia said, a couple minutes. So, you know, pulling the data off the MLS, we all know takes more time. And I'm not saying we're not skipping this. What we're doing is, this is just one of many tools that we use to price homes better, to cross-reference the MLS, cross-reference our property profile from title, and really know what we're talking about. And so this is something that we want to make sure that if you guys are interested in utilizing this tool, that you reach out to Amelia and, you know, like you said, send her an email with the property address, or text or a phone call, whatever's easiest for you. And we can, you know, get you guys a copy of these things. And so you're just going, you know, this is a huge tool. This is a huge tool for your seller. I mean, this is just 4 pages. I mean, the back 3 or 4 pages aren't really, they're kind of, you know, a couple graphs and stuff that to me aren't super important. But these first 4 or 5 pages are absolutely chock full of information. And it's a powerful tool that you can use with your sellers and use with your clients, and you look like an all-star.
For sure. So, I mean, this is a CMA, you know, so a lot of you use Cloud CMA or some other software, but this is a great thing for you just to have access to, wouldn't you say, Bill?
100%. You know, and like I said, I went through last week how I price homes. Like, if I'm gonna, help clients, sell a home, I have a very specific process that I've adopted over the last 22 years. And it's, one, pulling the property profile from title, calling DJ, or getting customer service from Fidelity, or if you're using Tycor or whoever you use, Old Republic up north. I will also, like I said, look at Redfin, and I'll look at Zillow just to see what they're saying. A lot of times they have discrepancies, but I'll just take a peek. And then I'll also pull one of these because I have access to it. And I will also cross-reference that across the MLS. And so with the title report, the MLS, closed, pending, active under contract statuses, plus this document, you are literally absolutely, on point for, and of course, driving the neighborhood. Just, if you can get in and see some of these homes, that only just sharpens your pencil further about the upgrades, condition, buzz, any views. And you can really whittle this thing down and be an absolute master expert at pricing homes. So I just know that, as we get out of the, the spring, kind of the fever of it, and it maybe slows down a little bit through summer, it's going to be really important to pricing homes correctly. As inventory gets a little more, days on market are going up. And I personally don't think that's a bad thing. It's a healthier market, to be honest. We all remember what it was like having buyers and submitting literally double-digit contracts before we get one accepted. And that is the definition of insanity. It's like, you feel like you're going nowhere quickly, and you're sending out DocuSigns every other day and getting outbid and getting just frustrated. I think it's okay to have a little bit of a healthier market, days on market going up. But in that same equation, if you don't have things priced right, you're at a disadvantage right there as well. So I just thought this was important. It's important to know this is how it overlaps with the lending, and having somebody like Amelia or somebody that you can go to and get this data to help you in your business.
100%. And so that dovetails straight into our presentation, which is taking these CMAs and creating a video for either your past clients or even people in your farm that you don't even know. And so if you're this is what we talked about as one of the daily habits last week on the webinar, of things that lead to closed real estate transactions. So if you are in the habit of creating what I'm about to show you at least once a week, and it depends on how big your database is, or how many homes you've sold in the past, right? But if you can get in the habit of doing at least one a week, and in some cases one a day, you're going to get to that. We talked last week about, it takes on average 50 real estate conversations in order to get to one transaction. So these video CMAs lead to conversations, which lead to transactions. So this is a really good idea for prospecting. This is a great idea on how to stay top of mind with your clients and to provide value to them for free and unsolicited. They didn't ask for this, but you just come out and give this to them. So let me share my screen with you. This is one that I just created yesterday. So we're going to go through this real quick, and then I'm going to show you how you actually do it. Hey, good morning, Don and Kathy. Kevin Lauren here. It's been a while. I hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to, I know we're coming up on 3 years that we got you into that place on Sierra Chula Road in Irvine. So just wanted to give you guys a little update on comparables, what the current value is. Hopefully this will be informative for you. I'm going to share my screen with you and share a few stats, and that way you guys get a good idea of what's going on with the current value, and that'll allow you guys to make some decisions perhaps. So right now, based on the research that I just did, it's looking like the current value is somewhere around 2.6 million. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of the comparables, some of the recent solds. So this is the area. Your house, of course, is here. But this is the area that I'm pulling these comps from. So these are pretty similar. These top ones are 4 bedrooms, similar square footage. So 5351 Sierra Verde Road, that sold recently for 2.55. Another one that's real comparable to your home is 19381 DeVry Drive, and that one sold for 2.7. A little bit larger square footage. So based on these and some of these other comps, we're looking at, that's what brought us to this value here, just under 2.6. But let's also just take a look at some active listings. So of what's active right now and the prices that they are being sold for or listed at, we've got 6192 Sierra Sienna Road, and that one is listed at $2,598,000. That is a 3-bedroom, and it's pretty comparable to your home there on Sierra Chula. It's only been on the market for 1 day, but the next one that is probably a little bit more comparable is 15 Elderberry. That one's being listed at 2.685. That's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. That's been on the market for 36 days. Another one pretty close would be 6252 Sierra Palos Road, and that's being listed at 2.298. That's only a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. Just got listed yesterday. So some of these are, brand new to the market, but I hope that this gives you a good synopsis of what's going on in your market right now. This is also some comparables as well that you can go through. I'm also going to email you this report. And so if you have questions about this report, please give me a call back, and I'd love to go through it with you guys in detail. But I hope this is I hope this provided a little bit of value for you guys, and I really look forward to seeing you guys real soon. So you can see that you're literally just doing a walkthrough of the CMA for your client. And so the feedback that I get from clients when they receive this is, first of all, they're very surprised that you did this. And second, yes, it does provide value. And this is something that you can email to them directly. You can also send it in a text. So really, really a powerful tool. So the way that, and you can do this a number of different ways. The way that I suggest doing it is through Zoom. And so with Zoom, just like we're doing right now on our webinars, we're recording the screen. So what you'll do is you will go to Zoom and you will just click on, host. You'll do a video. You'll start your own video. Of course, you should have, a camera. It doesn't really matter if you do. You can still just do a screen share of the graphic if that's more comfortable for you. But I think showing your face reminds the client of who you are. It provides a little bit more of a personalized touch when you have a brief screen share at the beginning or at the end. And so you'll literally just pull up the graphic, pull up the CMA on your computer, start the Zoom meeting, start recording, and do exactly what I just did. The very beginning, you're just talking to the client. Then you're going to hit share. And it's hard for me to do that while I'm also doing a Zoom recording. So if you guys need, personal help, just let me know and we can schedule an appointment. But so it's really not a difficult thing to do. So you'll literally start the meeting, start talking, share your screen, go through the stats of the CMA, and that's it. But once you've done that, then you have the opportunity to do a couple different things. So as you guys saw, I uploaded that to YouTube. And to upload things to YouTube, you just get to your YouTube channel, click on create, upload that video, and then you can use that as what you send out. Also though, Zoom, once you've uploaded it, they also have just their own recording that you can email as well. So you can download, once you've completed that Zoom video, you can click the little download button right here in the upper right, download the files. That's how I uploaded them to YouTube. I just downloaded the files to my computer, uploaded them to YouTube, and I did it that way. Another thing that you can do is you can use Canva. You can go to Canva, you can hit the create button, you can hit video. This is of course video landscape. This is the format that you would use if you're doing the version that I just showed you. You'll click that, start the video, and then same thing. You would upload. You would download that video file. Then you would upload the video file. Click on upload files. Go to my desktop and upload that. And then what would be the advantage of bringing it into Canva would be you can do like an intro screen, you can do an outro screen, you could also maybe add a few extra slides. You could even add slides of the client's home. If you sold that home to them, you're going to have a few. Obviously, you're going to have some great photos that you had produced for the listing. So you can drag that right into here. And then you can, hey, good morning, Don and Kathy. Stop it. Then you can add, hey, good morning, Don and Kathy. Kevin Lauren here. It's been a while. Stop it. All right. So then what you could do is you could upload other, images, and you could, or even, video clips that you took of the home, and then you can put them into the video in succession. You can also add, like a logo, right? You could put the logo in first. And so you can create a really powerful, video CMA using Canva. So a lot of different ways to do it, but the main thing is to don't overthink it. If you just get it into Zoom and just go through it, that's going to be plenty. But if you want to go above and beyond, you can make some really spectacular video CMAs. So that is the bulk of the presentation today. And I know I always am mentioning, you know, in a lot of my webinars, I'm mentioning, yeah, do you know, you know, do these video CMAs. But this is the first time I've actually walked you guys through it, so I apologize for that. But Bill, any takeaways from creating these unsolicited video CMAs?
Yeah, so I think if you're the agent that has a farm, like a pretty condensed farm, you probably don't have to create too many videos. Like it could be a broader, like, you know, like there's a community that community that report is based on is a community of Turtle Rock and Irvine, California. And if that's, for example, if that's where you sell 90% of your homes, you could do a broader one and have that go out to, maybe not to Don and Kathy or whoever you said, Kevin, but to your clientele. And this is the Turtle Rock market update. That way you only have to do one video. So depending on how many people you're trying to reach, a lot of us sell properties all over the shop. I was kind of that agent back in the day. Just, I don't know, just the way my referral base was. Just my path in real estate was never in a really concentrated. I never like farmed a neighborhood. It probably, looking back on it, probably maybe should have gone that route. But you know, I had referrals from people in San Diego. I had, you know, when the short sale thing was going on, I was selling homes in LA and up in the high desert and all over the place. So I've probably sold a home in every city south of LA. So it's like, you know, depending on what your, you know, who your audience is and who you're selling to is probably going to dictate on how you utilize this information. And, you know, this is just one really good tool. This doesn't have to be for me, have to be, you know, doesn't even never necessarily have to be the tool. This one's just really good because it's packed with information. And, but I think the bigger takeaway, Kevin, is doing something for your audience in this capacity. If you don't like doing the Zoom, you mentioned doing it on a text message or an email. If you have a, you know, a huge database, we preach database. If you don't have a database, you're killing yourself. You're losing transactions. Like it's just a fact that's not even disputable at this point. If you don't have your database, do it over the holiday weekend. Do it. Find a night that you know, watch the Dodger game or whatever you like to do. Go through your phone, build your database. You cannot successfully solicit this stuff if you don't have one. So it does, all this stuff fits together like a nice, neat puzzle. And when you have the database, you've done 90% of the work. The rest of the stuff is actually kind of fun and cool and creative. I mean, that's just my opinion, Kevin. You know, I don't think you'll disagree with any of what I'm saying, but once that's done, you've built the foundation of your real estate business.
No, 100%. And, you know, yeah, you and I, we beat that dead horse all the time. So, you know, and of course, with Alta, you have access to the Sierra. That's part of our program too. You have Sierra Interactive. And it's just a great spot to keep track of everybody you know, everybody in your sphere of influence, everybody that you've done business with, everybody that you meet at church or at Little League, you know, and just get these guys into your database, you know. So once you have your leads or just your contacts, you are absolutely on your way to, you know, being able to connect with all of these individuals. So, and I really like your point, Bill. If you're working a farm, which you all should be, um, do one market update. Do one a month, right? Hey, this is what's going on, and send that same exact video to everybody. If you have sold a home to somebody before, then of course it's more conducive to do the example that I did, where you're actually talking to the people that you know sold the home to, and you're using their home as a comparable, or as, you know, you're you know, giving a comparable market analysis for their home in particular. That's obviously much more powerful. It's much more personal. But to do a market update for people in your farm, that's gold too. And you can also do things like share that on social media. right? Video is the #1 thing that is shared and liked and gets views on social media, especially Instagram and Facebook. So really, really a great way to get yourself out there, provide, value for people. Also position yourself as the expert. So really, really good stuff, Bill. Anything else to add?
Yeah, and also this ties back to the couple trainings we had 3-4 weeks ago when you showed the guy that was getting contracts by how to use YouTube for getting contracts. Because you can take that same video for the community and, like you said, put it onto the YouTube and start building your YouTube channel. And it's like all these things, and we know the average age of the real estate agent is probably north of 50 years old. So all of us are faced with this new technology and these new tools. But if we don't use them, we're not going to be as successful as we could be. And I don't know. I get inspired when I see videos like the guy I was down there in Florida, talking about a community, what's coming, what are the plans, and it's just powerful stuff. And it just takes a little bit of effort.
Yep, a little bit of effort, and doing this is free, right? I didn't spend any money doing this. It's just a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, and it goes a long way.
Yeah.
So,
And then to Kev, real quick. So that report, Don asked me if he in the chat, can he get access to? So we can't give you logins to that because that's actually for loan officers, and that's for our connections with the banks that we work with. So you can't. That's why I did not actually bring this up in the topic of pricing homes for the first week we were speaking about pricing homes. This just came up in my thought process this last couple of days of how we can add extra value and also have you start talking to Amelia and bringing her into your process. So if you have a specific property, reach out to her, get to know Amelia. She's an absolute all-star in this business, so we can work together and help each other and close more deals. It's a no-brainer. And Kevin,
yes.
lastly, I will give you
Yeah.
you were on live this morning, so that's really good. I don't even know. I'm not even sure if I've been live yet. I'll have to maybe. I'm like for those of us that are of age. If you remember the show Charlie's Angels, and you had Charlie was the guy that was always on the speakerphone, but you never saw his face.
For sure.
I call Charlie at this point, but we might have to surprise everybody, and I'll get cleaned up and make sure that I'm looking good, and Charlie comes out of the shadows.
There we go. Love it, Bill. So go ahead, use Amelia as your, she is a resource for you guys. And so don't worry about going on Cloud CMA, use her software. Make sure that you're getting this information. Like we said, that ties back to the banks that could, get you out of, doing an actual appraisal. So utilize her. She's your resource. Her information is always on the replays, always on the invites for the webinars. So don't hesitate. And thank you very much, Amelia. Appreciate all that you do for us.
Yeah.
So,
and Kevin also too, thanks for everybody supporting Legacy Escrow. A lot of agents saved hundreds of dollars and collectively thousands of dollars on their flat fees. And that's just a huge another way to be more profitable and work together. That's all, that's really at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here at Alta Realty Group is create a cost efficient, nice speech there, platform for all of us to win. And at the end of the day, that's really the philosophy here. So we encourage you to use Raquel, use Amelia. Let's lower our flat fees. Let's all win and make more money.
Yeah, once you use Raquel, there's really no reason not to. She's just great. And so find out for yourself. Give her a call. All right.
Evan, it's always one last thing. Also,
sure.
I think next too, if you guys have anything that I think this is important for engagement, if you have anything that you would like us to, review, or there's topics that you want us to, Kevin and I, we talk every week about content, and we want to make sure that we're not wasting anyone's time. And I don't think you guys think that. I don't think that's the case. But I also just want to open the dialogue. To ideas? Is there something that you would like the brokerage to review or to take on as a topic? We're open to your suggestions, and we want to make this an interactive thing as well. So maybe next week, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, you can plug them into the chat, and we will definitely take a look at them and try to and do that.
Yeah, we have done that many times. And so, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. It's something that you need, and we will cover it. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate your insight as always. And agents, appreciate you guys joining our webinars every Wednesday. With that said, get out there, make it a great week, a productive week, and we'll see you all next Wednesday on the webinar.